Welcome to the Show Me What I've Been Missing podcast, the pop culture podcast where we show the, our co host what they've been missing. I'm Elizabeth, and my co host here is.
Chris Mack, what up, baby?
Hey.
So we are into season 1, episode 10 of Sex in the City, and this episode is the baby
The baby
shower.
shower. I love this one. This is one of my favorites.
I did too. Man, I swear to God, dude. Like I know I say this every episode. But like I swear to God, I am watching this show at the perfect time in my life because, like, literally everything that happened in this episode, I could see the future in certain people that I know and that are in my past, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, because especially the character Lainey.
Lainey, yeah.
Lainey, like, man, like I'm telling you, I'm not gonna say no names. I'm not gonna tell you who it is, but I know somebody in my life that is going to end up like her, and it low-key made me feel sad for them because, like, that woman is going to be miserable.
Yeah, she's gonna make her kid miserable.
She's gonna make her kid miserable. She's gonna make her husband miserable because she is doing all these things for the wrong reason.
Yeah, she's not happy with herself and where she actually is in life, and
Right.
that is gonna come out on the kids. So she's gonna be like
100%.
a really embarrassing mom, and not like it's just a cute like, oh geez, my mom's embarrassing way, but like in a, oh my god, my mom is like, I hate when the chaperones dance with the kids at the dance level. Embarrassing.
He's gonna be like, yeah, she's gonna chaperone the kids dance and be dancing. You're like, mom, no, like
No.
she's gonna be that kind of mom. Like when she comes to pick you up for school, like most kids when their mom and dad pick them up for school, they're like happy, like, oh, she's getting me out early. But
Yeah,
like,
you're like, oh, we're going to McDonald's.
Like we're gonna go do something. Like she getting me out of school early because we gotta go do something cool.
Yeah,
you're gonna be like, mom, please just go home. No, I know I want to stay in school. Like, please, no, I have detention. I have detention. I have to.
I'm taking the bus. I'm taking the bus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's gonna be so embarrassing. But like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so this episode was cool to me because, like, I mean, literally, I have, like, I don't think in my early 20s I had run into anybody like this, so I couldn't, really understand. Like, but now that I have had a few life experience and I'm in my 30s now, I have ran into this person, and and it's just like, man, it's almost so bad that it's sad.
Yeah, because like I didn't really go to any baby showers in my 20s. I went to one of like a neighbor friend's wife, and that was like, but that I was still in college, and a lot of them were too, but they were also like already married and starting families young, and I was definitely not in that place.
Right.
And that was a weird baby shower for me because I was the only person at the baby shower who was not like currently or recently pregnant. But they're, they're all building lives and stuff, but they're just very, to me, very young.
Yeah.
Even at that time.
Yeah.
But everybody's happy, by the way. Congrats on all the kids. They're all adorable.
Like, I don't. I know that's the same thing for me too. Like in my younger days, like I knew people who were, barely a year out. I remember I went to boot camp when I started the military. I went to boot camp when I was 18 years old, turned 19, came back home for like a week, and then I went to go training again. And then when I came back home that second time, like I went to this restaurant where like it was basically like high school reunion every day at this restaurant. That's where everybody hung out in my small ass town. And it was weird though because so many people had came up and that talked to me and stuff like that. And like we've only been barely a year and a half out of high school, and these people already have been like married. Some had already gotten divorced. Some had already been like on their first kid. Some are on their second kid. I'm like, we just got out of high school. What are y'all doing? Like,
were a lot of them in the military as well? Because that was the situation. A lot of them were like military wives, actually.
No, not at all. These are people who just like, went to high school, maybe did like community college, but already like starting families. And I'm like, yo, we're not even 21 yet, cuz, and you are already on your first kid. it was bizarre to me. Like even I at the time I didn't know whether or not I wanted to have children. I knew for sure I didn't want to be a 20-year-old kid with a fucking kid. Ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah.
Well, I will say the situation within the show is different because everybody's in their early 30s at this point. So this is theoretically when you are supposed to be having kids. Theoretically,
yeah. I'll take that. Theoretically, yes.
Theoretically.
Probably should never have kids at all.
And what's funny is like we keep talking about the like weird expectations the show is putting forward about like you need to get married and have a settled down life, otherwise they're going to send you out on an ice floe for Manhattan, because that's the implication. But then they go to someone who did that kind of abruptly, and lady's not great, but they also treat her like she's a total fucking idiot and freak show for doing it in the first place.
Right.
And I do not care for all their mom judgment. I will say these moms are weird.
Yeah.
And there is all the like Stepford vibes.
Oh, you mean the suburb women?
The suburb women?
Or suburban, I guess.
Suburban women. But also it's definitely of the time, because now you can get a little more balance. But this also just drives me nuts in general. Where are the fucking dads? And I know this is a woman's baby shower.
Yeah.
But like the women who were like, my life is hell because I have a family and a kid and I have no time to myself. I was like, your fucking man needs to step up. None of this shit. And it's gotten better in the past 20 years. It's still not great. But that's how we have the stupid Bad Moms movie, which I know people liked. But they're all stressed out trying to do all this like shit. I was like, where's the fucking dads in these situations?
And here's
Get the fuck out of here.
Here's this is my theory on where the dads are. I feel like most of these women, the ones at the party, like the suburban women, not Carrie and the gang, the suburban women, these all seem like women who essentially gave up their life to be like kept women, basically like like housewives, and their husbands are out there grinding, to give them this stay-at-home lifestyle, and like they kind of regret it, but they just put all their attention into like being moms and kind of lost themselves in that job because they gave up that. Now, I don't know if necessarily the men made them give this up and they became moms, or if they chose to, but either way, it just seems like somebody made the choice, but not actively. Like they just kind of whatever, like fell into it. But like it seemed like that's why the men weren't in this. That's my theory. Yeah. The men weren't in this episode. Like these women, there's home mom wannabe people. Or at least they thought they were, then they had the kid and they were like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah, there's a certain amount of that to a degree, but there is also a lot of, I will say in defense of moms, because I know many and came from one, there is an entire damned if you do, damned if you don't mentality, which is just the situation for women in general. So this is, you either stay at home and you're a good mom, but you are missing, you're not fulfilled because you're missing part of your career. If you do keep working, well, now you're missing out on the child rearing aspects, and you're not a good mom because you're working, ignoring the financial situation entirely for like 99% of the mom populace. These are definitely 1% moms.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about any of that, who could theoretically afford childcare probably.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I know the debate for so many families is childcare costs the same as someone's salary in a lot of cases. So who stays home, mom or dad? Well, basically it depends who makes more, because men tend to make more. Women get stuck at home. And then they lose, and then if they do want to go back to work after a few years, after kids can go to school and things like that, then they're left behind by a few years. And there's been studies that show like that adds to the gap too. So it's just like a whole fucking thing. I didn't even do a whole bunch of research before we started, but that's just off the top of my head, and the well goes deeper and gets worse.
Yeah, but that's another thing too, is like, it's like, that's why it's so that to me, it's, if you are a person that cares about having a career and want to do things, then like, at least get yourself to a point where like, if you do take some time off, it's not going to kill you. Like most of the time, I feel like a lot of people.
But it's things are not set up to encourage that for women. Barely for men, but definitely not for women. You either stay in the grind.
I don't think so. In 1990, maybe, but here in these days, I feel like
nope.
women can have that choice. Meaning, like,
to a certain degree, but
you know what I mean. But like, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, you there's a certain point in everybody's career where you can take some time off and be okay. But I think most people have kids before that.
Sometimes, but like I said, I can't remember the study I was reading. If you are dropped out of the workforce for whatever reason suddenly, you are however many years or months behind everybody else when you go back.
Yeah, certain careers. Yeah, I mean, I know it's hard for like anybody, especially in our business, like entertainment and shit. Like, I know it's hard to take some time off, but like that's another thing too. Is like,
and then workplaces aren't kind to parents, especially moms, as far as like taking time off, being flexible about childcare or an emergency, even God forbid, and therefore women are not given opportunities to advance and go further and catch up and be further along where you could take more time off. Those all go to men because it's your job as the mom to go deal with the emergency. We'll let Frank and whatever handle it. And that puts women further behind too.
Yeah, and I guess that's like the whole thing of like trying to find the balance between your career and the kid, like, and then those crucial, and you know, in those first 2 years of a child's life are like the most crucial, and like, and that's when they need the most attention, you know, and it's hard to have, you know, you don't want to have, you know, a babysitter watching your kids at that time and stuff like that, which is really hard. I totally get that pressure of it, but like. That's why I'm like, listen, I ain't trying to have no kids.
I was gonna say we're also the only
somebody like I wouldn't want to do that too. If I know that I'm with somebody who like has a dream and has a career going and they want to like pursue that dream, I would feel even if we both decide, like, you know, I would just feel like selfish if I put that on them, because like that's a whole new world that you're introducing to this person. And again, like you're saying, like even in today's world, 9 times out of 10, it falls on the woman to like, the caretaker.
In the pandemic, more women have lost their jobs, especially women of color, than any other like job sector. I think in one of the recent months at the tail end of 2020, 100% of women lost, 100% of the job losses were women.
Oh, wow.
We're the only industrialized nation that does not provide maternity care like in any long-term thing. My brother and sister-in-law have twins. My sister-in-law had to argue to get twice the 3. She was gonna get like 3 months. She had to argue to get 6 months because there's 2 of them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We treat women like shit in general. We treat moms in this country like shit. And as funny as I do find this episode, I also, some of the mom bashing rubbed me the wrong way. Now, mom, like the creepy Stepford moms, this is all high-end, moneyed up shit where it is a bunch of malarkey and nonsense, frankly. All this like competing about like preschools and who's going where and who's doing what and edging out other children. That's all weird, high-end, like high money shit that I don't think I'm ever gonna have to worry about unless I win the lottery, find me a rich husband, or I earn a bunch of money myself and end up in that.
But see, that kind of goes to something that I wanted to talk about, which is having a child for the wrong reason. You know what I mean? Like, where
people have babies to fix marriages, and that sure don't work.
It was Samantha that said like that these people are like having a child to validate your existence.
Yeah.
That is the wrong reason, and that's why I think, and that's why, you know, you see these people who are, you know, these moms that are like passive aggressive to other moms and like judging, you know, and stuff like that, because like they are having these children as decoration. Like if they're like a Christmas tree, their kids are ornaments. You know what I mean? And like
sorry, that kid's a human. You have to deal with that.
but I also think these are also women who grew up in that lifestyle as
exactly.
as young when they were kids. Like they probably went to high school with a bunch of other people that had money.
Yeah.
And you know, when rich kids get together, I don't even know if they actually become friends. Like it all just seem like they're always in a competition to like one up each other. Especially, no offense, in the woman's side. From what I've heard and what I've seen, usually women are like competing against each other money wise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a like a long standing issue.
Yeah.
Of like woman on woman crime. And Samantha's judging.
I love that. Never heard that before. I'm gonna use that for the rest of this season.
Well, and Samantha's judging them for having kids for the wrong reasons, so she has a point, but they all kind of are like kid hater. Not well, I shouldn't say kid hater. They're more like judgmental of the moms, but then all those moms are just as judgmental back that those women aren't married with kids, which is that's a whole other thing too, that you treating women like they're only meant to have children, and that's a whole other can of worms.
But see, I think that's a thing of trying to, like, again, if I feel like these women, most of them, at least the ones at this party particularly, they all had children for the wrong reasons and gave up their life to, you know, try to be moms, and then like they're judging these women out of, to me, honestly, jealousy? A little bit of jealousy. Yeah, a little bit of jealousy. It's like, oh, look at you, like, you know, living in the city, don't know where know where you're going in life. Like, but really, they do know where they're going in life. That's why they're not having children. They're working on themselves to like give themselves that free, that free range to do that. You know what I mean? Like most, because even like honestly, the only person I think whose life would really be as far as the four women of the show that would only be like, I guess, ruined by having kids is Samantha. But I think like Charlotte, Miranda, and Carrie could all have a child right now, even if they were single and be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially Carrie, she's a writer, so she just has to type some shit and be like, here, email, boom, my article.
Well, as we saw, Charlotte very much wants to be in that club again. But then they turn they turn on her, and I loved angry Charlotte this episode. She was great.
It's because Lainey, that bitch, stole her baby name. How you somebody's baby name? They done told you their entire life that this is a name that they wanted, or at least since you've known them.
Yeah.
Which again, okay. Side note.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how long Charlotte has been in the game.
I was gonna say. Because
like they're talking about Lainey, and it seems like they've known her for years, like since they were young kids.
They flashed back; it would theoretically be 1990-ish,
right?
Because they said 8 years ago.
Okay, and they known at least that long. But here's the thing: here's why I still question like how long they've been friends, because when they all go to the bar after the party and they're talking about Carrie, who might be pregnant, Charlotte walks back in. She's like, "What did I miss?" And they all like nothing. They don't. I think her about the conversation. So like, it solidified my theory that she's still new to the gang.
She's definitely newer to the gang, and I will say I think they didn't tell her. I noted that too. I think they didn't tell her because they either thought she would be too excited for Carrie to maybe be pregnant.
Oh yeah, okay.
Maybe too judgmental for Carrie to be pregnant.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes there's different gradations of friendship and friend groups, and sometimes you tell some people some things and not other people other things right away. Like if you know somebody who's a blabber, you don't tell that person. And Charlotte's not going to blab it, but like I feel
like you would though, like not some like
not intentionally maybe.
Yeah, you know what I mean, like out of excitement, she'd be like, "Oh, my friend Carrie, ooh," you know what I mean? Like she probably tell the fucking guy at a stoplight, like,
yeah, she's like, she's pregnant. Yeah. I do like though the friendship moment when Samantha walks in on her arguing with Lainey, and she's like, "What happened?" And Charlotte's like, "She stole my baby name." And Samantha's like, "You bitch," and just leads Charlotte out of the room. They don't get paired together a lot.
That's
for
true.
A lot of things because they are just so total polar opposites. But when they do come together and are like tight like that, I love seeing it, and I love that Samantha is ride or die for her, and will be like, "This is my best friend." Like,
but here's the thing too. She was.
He also just didn't like Lainey, so
yeah. Exactly what I was gonna say. Like low key, because like Samantha and Lainey are pretty similar.
Yeah,
I think Samantha is matured more. Obviously, I mean, and that was shown through the episode. Like, between Lainey and her, like they're very close in personalities, and that's probably why they clash, which is usually
they're total frenemy situation for sure.
Yeah, like frenemy situation. You know, that happens a lot with people, but also like I think she understood that like because of who Charlotte is, she's like a sweetheart and would never do anything like fucked up to anybody, not especially not intentionally.
Yeah.
That was an intentional thing. And she's like, and the fact that she lied about it too. She was like, "Oh, my husband heard it somewhere."
Yeah.
You know, goddamn well.
That man did not hear the name Shayla fucking anywhere.
Yeah. And if he did hear the name Shayla, it was probably from like some stripper he used to bang or some shit like that. Because you know she's dating like a Wall Street fucking guy. You know what I mean? A swaggerless, only cares about money dude.
Yeah.
Shit. You know what I mean? Like, look at the house that she was living in. Like, and you know she controls all the finances. Like,
yeah,
makes money. She controls it. He's either like this Wall Street like cokehead dude, or he's like this simp ass dude. That, like,
he's the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's that. Because she's the kind of person that likes to be in control. Like,
true, you're right. It would be he would be like a wallflower version.
Yeah, he's a wallflower. Like, he makes good money. He's successful, but
she steamrolls shit big time. Yeah, by the way, I was curious, in 1998, Shayla would have been unique because the top baby names for girls in 1998, at least according to this very cursory research, were Emily, Hannah, Samantha, Ashley, Sarah, Alexis, Taylor, Jessica, Madison, and coming in at number 10, Elizabeth.
So yeah, see, so she's a bitch, man. She knew what she was doing.
Now that being said, I read a lot of advice column things for fun and for work. Okay. And there's always arguments about like baby names, especially in families where it's like we want to name the baby after grandpa or grandma or whoever, and people demanding you tell what baby name you want and then being mad because they claimed that meant it. There's weird arguments. So the advice I've heard is do not tell anyone your baby's name until you've stamped it on the damn birth certificate. And at that point, there's really nothing anybody can do. And you also, technically, you can't really steal a baby name. You can name babies whatever you want to. Celebrities have proven that.
This is fair, but she stole that.
But but Lainey definitely did steal.
Definitely did. Like, because it'd be different if like she just named the baby that and it just was a coincidence, you know what I'm saying? But like it was, and here was the thing too, because it was the way she even responded to Charlotte accusing her, you know what I mean? Like she kind of stood her ground in her bitching that she was like, yeah, maybe I did. I don't care. Like, you know,
so what if I did? What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And it was okay. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay, so before the baby shower, they do the flashback and they see, you know, Lainey being like the party girl. And she's, you know, trying to be the center of attention and she's, you know, stripping down, which, you know, hey, listen, if that's who you are, that's who you are, cool. But I'm not judging her on that matter. But they seem to be kind of woman bashing her about like, the center of attention and being like this wild girl and shit like that. And my question is, in that moment, were they wrong? And here's why. Let me add an addendum to the question. Were they wrong because they were hating on her because that's who her personality is and they were jealous of that? Or were they right in hating on her because she was being the center of attention for all the wrong reasons?
I think it's a little bit of both. Samantha, it's jealousy over being the center of attention.
Sure.
It's a faux concern, I think. Like, oh, we're so worried about Lainey. It's an embarrassing thing to do in most cases, to like go dance topless if you're too drunk and you don't really know you're doing it. She kind of knew, so they weren't worried about her in that sense. I think there's a little like envy of the confidence that she had to go do that. So there's judgment of her being slutty for doing it, probably. But like I said, it's envy on Samantha. It's probably judgment on Carrie and Miranda a bit more. But yeah, it's a little woman on woman crime. You know, a little like, oh, I can't believe she's doing that. Yeah. It's not something I would do, and it's not exactly the type of person I would hang out with anyway. So I'm not gonna like. It's not my thing, so it's not gonna. But it's not for me to like. Yeah. Want to dance on a tabletop and be a party girl? Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. I don't care.
Well, man, it was so cool too, though. The contrast to that scene to like the scene when she's present day. When she's present, you know, she comes to she crashes Samantha's "I don't have a child" party.
I love that.
Kudos to Samantha.
So
that is so funny, and like it's like a little shitty, but in that way where you
yeah, I wrote down that exact thing. I was like, it's pretty rude, but pretty funny.
Yeah, like I get it. I get it. But then like she shows up all pregnant, she's like trying to be the wild girl, and it was just bad.
It made me think of that scene in Knocked Up when Katherine Heigl and Leslie Mann go back to the club where they first met Seth Rogen, and Katherine Heigl's like 9 months pregnant, and they're trying to jump line, and Craig Robinson's the bouncer. He's like, I can't have old pregnant bitches running around this club. And then he's like,
doorman.
Yeah. And he's like, you're old. I don't mean for this earth. I just mean for this club.
Right.
And she's pregnant. What the hell are you doing out here? Yeah. You doorman. I love her.
Like, as soon as she showed up, the immediate thought in my head was like, man, take your ass home. And then I realized, I didn't know, I had forgot about this information. But she came all the way from Connecticut.
That's an expensive cab ride.
Oh, it is. I looked it up. A cab from Manhattan to Connecticut is $124.
Oof, that's almost reasonable. Not really.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, that's not bad. But like, if I was the cab driver, I'd be fucking pissed. Because, you're making a $120 fare, but you still got to drive.
Then you got to go back to Manhattan.
And I don't know how far Connecticut and New York is, but I'm assuming it's at least an hour's drive.
Yeah, at least.
If not more. At least maybe an hour and a half at least. So you got to drive 3 hours for this bitch. You shouldn't have been out the house in the first place because you decided to get pregnant. So you need to be pregnant and do what you got to do. And that's my thing too. Like I say that with a little bit of compassion because I understand. Like that's a big responsibility. You're a little scared. Your life is changing and things of that nature.
Oh yeah.
However, the decision was made, and you gotta be a mature person. Like that's a whole part of being motherhood, which goes back to the whole point. She is doing it for the wrong reasons. Like she's doing it because like, you know, she's probably caught, like, it's like the same thing when people get caught up in the romance of like, you know, moving in together or like getting married. Like they think about all the grandeur of it. Like people, I think a lot of people too with children, like they think of that, you know, having a child and then being older, like, you know, 6, 7, 8. But they don't think about those first 3 years of their life when it's really, really hard. And then they don't think about like, you know, 13 to 18 when they're kind of a dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no matter how good you are to them and how cool you are as a parent, they're teenagers and they're assholes. And like, nobody thinks about that. They always think about that little window between like 6 to 11.
Yeah. Where they're like cute and precocious, but you can rein it in effectively.
Right.
And they have a little personality, but like you're still king or queen or whatever in the situation. Yeah.
Right.
Or
she was doing.
Or sometimes they only think of them when they are in baby phase, and you can just hold them and carry them all the time. And then once they're mobile, that's a whole other issue.
They forget that eventually this little human is going to start talking. And they're going to eventually start trying to talk back, and that's a whole nother can of worms.
Many babies' first word is no.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. Like that's why I think like. One, she's having kids for the wrong reason. And then this goes back because, like, let me tell you something. I don't care how much money I make. If my pregnant wife took her ass from Connecticut all the way to Manhattan, when she get home, she going to get this work. Like, I'm going to have a lot of things to say. Like,
I mean, that's that guy's kid, too. So
$124 I got to spend because you wanted to go try to relive your party girl days.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with you? Like, we can talk about it, but I'm gonna have some shit to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous.
I have some things to say, and then we're gonna get you therapy because you're clearly going through some shit, but I'm still mad.
I'm not gonna divorce you or some shit like that. But, like, we gotta talk about what's going on. Like, why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
Because it's definitely like a sort of a midlife crisis, not mid-pregnancy, because she says she's almost about to have the baby. So
yeah. So you're about to pop and you out there. And then what would happen if the baby came early between your trip from Manhattan back to home?
You make that cab driver help you give birth in the back of the cab somewhere over the Brooklyn Bridge? What are you, fucking nuts?
Right? What if you like just make it out of the city? Ain't no hospital for miles. Now this motherfucker gotta drive around. You know what I'm saying? And then he's got to drive around. He probably still gonna have that meter on. So that means
and you're gonna pay that cleaning fee.
Fucking asshole, man.
Yeah. What do you call it? Oh, I do. I will. So I will say this. So this episode too, I think we're getting a little back to who the Miranda that people know and like, compared to the Miranda that we've been experiencing the past few episodes. Miranda here's a little cynical, or not a little, a lot cynical. Very, anti-motherhood, anti-baby. And again, I don't like the idea that they've made a bad choice, because the whole idea of like feminism and being free is you can choose whatever you want to do. You want to be a stay-at-home mom? Rock on. You want to be a working woman? Rock on. Like it should not be one or the other. And Miranda's very, to me, judgmental. But then also we get this little tidbit about Miranda when they're shopping for pregnancy tests with Carrie, and Carrie's freaking out about like, am I maternal? Could I be a mom? I left baby dolls in the rain. And then Miranda goes, I put a rubber band around my dog's snout. And Carrie is absolutely freaked out. And I was like, yeah.
As she should be.
As she should be. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, like you're this close
Miranda.
to me.
But I think that explains
animal cruelty.
All the previous behavior we've seen out of Miranda.
She was kind of a rock in that moment.
But yeah, she was a good friend to Carrie, walking her through that.
And I agree with you too. Like this whole episode does kind of paint it as if like women who decide to have kids are like stupid for stuff. But like, I think though, maybe they just didn't write it well enough. But I think the idea was not that women having kids is dumb. Is that these women who did it for the wrong reasons are dumb. Yeah. Like these women are all these like superficial type people who are, having, like they're doing these things as a way to show off to like their friends, or like maybe somebody they knew in high school. It's like, look, I'm successful. Somebody loves me. Somebody impregnated me. I'm a woman who's not like, seeking validation through her career. I've become a mother. I've done like the weakness of being a woman, which is like having a kid, but like that's not. But in their eyes, and
at this time, that was still a big like, you may be like the most successful person or this or that, but you're not complete till you have a baby, which is not true.
Like, oh, you got a great career, but like, where's your husband?
Yeah, where's your husband? Where's your baby?
No prospects of even marriage. Yeah. Like, you're so sad. And
in 98 and before, and even now, you could be like, I've discovered time travel.
Right.
I cracked the code on it. We can go back in time and kill Hitler.
Right.
And they would be like,
yeah, but
you're single. You don't have a baby. That's kind of sad.
It's so sad you had to figure out time travel just to feel validation.
Yeah. Like, way to go on killing Hitler and changing history, but like also no
like,
baby.
You're so successful with no baby. It's so weird.
Does your life feel hollow? No, I went back in time and solved history.
I said history. Yeah. You're still single, so
going back in time with a baby.
But fun. That's what it's like. It's like, yeah, but you were back in time, but you have no one to share that accomplishment with.
Yeah, you have no one to share that time travel with. And you're like, yeah, because I was on a covert mission to stop Hitler and other things. I can't break.
That was kind of the balance of this episode, is because like on one hand you had these mothers who like low-key were having regrets about having kids, judging these single women who have careers and shit like that, and then
who are judging these women for having kids.
Right,
it's all a vicious cycle.
So it was good balance. It was good balance. It wasn't just one sided. I feel like, you know what I'm saying. But
ultimately,
But again, because of my experiences that I have, like I know a person like Lainey and all those other women that were at that party. It's just like, oh man, you can totally tell like they didn't have, because like you can tell these women don't really like. It's like it's different. You can tell when somebody like has kids for the right reason, because like they actually like children.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Not just like their own, but like all kids. Like they like you know, probably worked at a daycare at some point or were like babysitters, and they actually like children. So when they have children, they're happy because like they truly wanted children, and like not just the idea of like what those children would represent in the eyes of other people who might be judging them.
This season's hottest accessory is a baby.
Right. Exactly. But like that's oh fuck, what did I talk about? Okay, yeah, but
did derailed you with a joke? Sorry.
He did, but it was a good joke. I'll take that derailment for good people. But yeah, but like these women, and so like when I look at women like these women, like you can tell they aren't happy because they don't even like really. You can tell they don't really like fuck with kids. Like the only kids that they really like are their own, and they barely even like them.
Yeah, you know? and they feel a societal pressure to.
Yeah.
Like you are a suburban wife in Connecticut now with your, you know, rich commuter husband.
Yeah.
The only way to get accepted into the next level of this society is to pump out some kids.
Right.
And then, you know, start carting and toting them around to doing whatever and making them involved in whatever, and you're involved in like PTAs and things like that, but it's all like weird political power, like grabs over other people for
all that alpha mom syndrome,
like, for like really petty shit at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely,
100%. And it's hard because I know I think we were arguing about some of this on our other podcasts that we do.
Yeah.
About like, because I was telling like I years ago before, or when I was first moving here, I knew some people who also moved here to LA and said, well, I like it and you know I want to work, but like I don't know if I could raise kids here. And like that just rubs me the wrong way because like millions of children have been raised in the city of Los Angeles. Like it's not and like I get you wanting them to have a childhood similar to your own, like because we're a bunch of us were from Michigan, so there was a little more rural, and for a lot of people, not everybody, but or access to like rural woodsy stuff. But guess what, you can go to the beach and the mountains almost in the same day in California. You can go camping in California. Like there's a lot you can still recreate that experience. And I think they were also, I don't know this, but it like afraid of them like becoming like superficial just because they were in LA, and like, well, that's why you come in as a parent,
right?
Like and not that
so many people that are native to LA that give zero fucks about their business. So like, you know, the biggest thing too is like I can understand maybe saying you don't know if you can raise a kid here because of how much it fucking costs.
That is a big argument that I buy. Yeah, it's totally fucking expensive.
I totally get that 100%. As far as them, like you worry about how they're gonna grow up and their personality, that's really on you. So what you're really saying is you don't know how to be a parent yet, which means you should be thinking about.
Which is fine because we were all in our early 20s. So no, I wouldn't expect you to know how to properly raise a child at that point. Like.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like I always notice, like people who, like anybody to me that, like maybe wants to have kids, but they're so confident that they're gonna be a good parent. That's a red flag to me. It's like you should have confidence, obviously, because you do need a certain level of confidence because like you have to exude that, you know. If the kid senses like your fear and anxiety, they're very, you know, empathetic and they feel things. So like if they feel it in you, then they're gonna feel it and it's gonna upset them. So you don't want that, but you definitely need to have some sort of fear in the idea of like being a parent, because that's what's going to make you a good parent, because you're thinking about all the things that could go wrong and then you're going to try to prevent them, you know.
And you need to think about
crazy, you know,
what you would want to avoid, like even if, you know, not everybody, a lot of people love their parents, no qualms, no issues. But you also can look back analytically and just be like, maybe we don't do or say X, or we react in such a way. Like, everybody makes mistakes, though, so you can't, like, but just you're cognizant of, like, well, I would like to try to avoid that. Sometimes people do successfully, sometimes you don't. You know, so therapy's for.
That was always my big thing, you know, not big thing, but, like, that's kind of how I feel about certain things. Like, you know, I think about how I came up. My parents did the best they could, but we didn't always have enough money for me to like have certain things. Like, you know, you know, or like me, you know, get like other teenagers that I knew, you know, had cars at like 16. I never had a car in high school and all this other shit, you know,
I
things
borrowed my mom's car in high school.
you know what I mean?
She let me borrow it.
Hell, I couldn't even do that. They wouldn't even let me get my license because they couldn't afford to have me on their insurance.
Oh yeah. Teenage like boys, so, they drive up that insurance.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, I get it. I'm not mad at them. I get it. Like now that I pay for insurance and shit like that, I get
it. you're like, I would not add a child to my insurance either. Fuck them.
Yeah, bitch. When you turn 18, you can get a car. How about that? But yeah, that's like that's one thing that I have, and then like, you know, certain behaviors that my parents do, like that I don't want to have, and those are things that I, you know, if I think about if I had a child, if I wanted to do that, those are things that I would try to avoid, and like I just don't get people who are just like so steadfast and like they like
because a lot of the times
that's going to lead to mistakes and big mistakes too, you know.
And there's kind of an authoritarian like concept that they're gonna know so rock solidly, like, well, if I say I knew a girl in high school, definitely too young to be thinking about it. We weren't even like 18 yet, but she was like, when I have kids, I'm not gonna tell them there's a Santa. I don't want to ever lie to my kids, and I'm never going to lie to them. I was like, you're never going to lie to your kids about anything, ever. Right. Get the fuck out of here. Come on. Santa's a harmless fucking...
Yeah, like there's no way you can be 100% honest with a kid. It just wouldn't. Like, you fucked them up mentally if you told them the truth about everything.
Yeah.
You know,
like, come on. And also, to me, I'm like, Santa's a harmless lie. I think there's magic in childhood, or you can make magic in childhood. I think it's fun. I'm not alone, but I have read a lot of people say I feel like the Santa thing betrayed my trust in my parents to like a really intense degree. But I also can't help but wonder if there's other issues. And the Santa was maybe the straw that broke the camel's back on that. Like,
that's probably. And that's another thing too. Like, that's why like I worry about, because like I want to. It's that balance, you know. Like, I want to make sure my kids are set up financially and that they never have to want for anything. But at the same token, I do want to teach them the value of money, because like my youngest brother, love him to death, but like he was spoiled. And him as an adult now, it turned him into an asshole. Like,
no.
Expect these things like to happen, and basically just like all these things to be given to him, and he doesn't understand the value of like really like working hard and also being disappointed when that hard work doesn't become immediately success, and when you have to work hard for a long time to get that success. Like, especially nowadays, you know what I'm saying, because of the life that we live with our phones, like everybody expects, nobody like, you know, puts in the time, and like I want to be able to teach my kids that. And like sometimes when you spoil a kid too much and give them everything, they don't know how to. And that's the thing too. My biggest worry is like, I know people who were spoiled and grew up with such privilege that like they don't know how to be happy because they don't know how to appreciate anything. You know what I mean? Like everything was given to them, so like anytime you tell them no in any form of capacity in any subject, like their brains don't know how to compute it, because they like, what I'm supposed to, I want it, I'm supposed to have it. So what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean?
There's been multiple studies and reports and information about, first it was helicopter parenting, and then someone I saw describe it as steamrolling parenting, which is where you just eliminate all obstacles that would ever come into your child's path. And it is out of a misguided, like, I want the best for my kids, but without realizing that, like, they have to struggle and learn in order to be self-sufficient and things like that.
You know, those things. You have to teach them about consequence and all that shit.
But that's why there are so many problems, because there is no sense of consequence.
Right.
All problems are, you know, have been eliminated. That, you know, parents argue with teachers at school about like schoolwork and why they, you know, it used to be like the parent would side with the teacher and be like, no, you have to do your fucking homework, and now there's like a million excuses as to why. And then the phone thing is its own nightmare trap, especially with social media and the validation and stuff like that. That's a whole, luckily that doesn't come up for these kids in this show, but like that's its own mess.
That's why I laughed at when wow, can't think of her name right. Miranda. She was like, because like that woman was talking about her kid. She's like, I tell my son every day that he's a god, and like this. She's like, what are the chances that any woman is ever going to make him happy when he gets older? 0.
Yeah, that is but Miranda's 100% right. That is problematic.
I was like, Miranda, you got cool points. You got some shit back here, because I was like, that is so fucking true. Like, you can't, like, any mom that's that, like, you worship your kid like that. That breeds an entire expectation level that no woman's gonna commit. Like, if any woman that he meets that doesn't worship him that way, he's gonna be like, well, she's not the one for me. Because that's what you see.
Or all women are terrible because they don't worship me the way my mom does. Like, that is setting your son up for some major failure.
That's so too. Like, okay, let's say that's how he's raised, right? His mom worships him and stuff like that, and he grows up to resent it and hate it. But here's the thing. So either he's gonna, that's like two sides of that coin. Like, he's basically fucked either way, that child, is because he's gonna grow up expecting all women to treat him that way, or he's gonna resent it, and then when he gets older, his mom is gonna try to run all these women out of him.
Oh my god,
he's obsessed with being like the number one woman in his life. And that is insane and disgusting, low key. Because I knew a mom. She literally told me that her goal was to make her son a mama's boy. I was like,
oh, that's fucked up. What? No. I
was like, you need help. You need professional help. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. I was like, I can't believe you said it to me with a straight face and act like I was supposed to be like, oh yeah, it makes sense. No.
That's funny because Miranda makes a joke because the one lady's there with kind of like an older, like a 5-year-old or something like that. And she's like, oh, I love, the so-and-so son. And Miranda's like, oh, all I have to do to have the perfect man is give birth to him. Yeah, there's like
two solid, great
burns.
Back to back. And that was like, you could take that as like, oh, she was just hating, but like, nah, she was being.
No, she has a point, especially, well, in both cases, but especially about the like, oh, I call my son a god every day, and that's, I mean, it's just, well, there's like a whole subreddit like called Just No Mother-in-Law about insane mothers-in-law, usually two women who like, I've read crazy stories where like the wife is like, I'm allergic to peanuts, mother-in-law knows this, constantly cooks with peanuts, gives me peanut like straight up trying to murder some of these people.
That's attempted murder. If you know somebody has an allergy, like a deadly allergy, and you cook with that shit, that's attempted murder for sure.
I just saw the other one I like is Am I the Asshole on Reddit, and another one was like, or like mothers-in-law who have like keys to houses and just come in and like clean, but really they're going through everybody's stuff and like boundaries, people. Everybody needs.
And that's what I'm saying. Like a mom like that, the one that's like, I tell my son he's a god every day. Like that's a mom that doesn't have boundaries. Like she won't let him set boundaries. Like that's the kind of mom that's like, if she gives him his own room, she'll probably just like walk in whenever she feels like.
Yep, won't never knock.
Probably try to bathe him until he's like in his teens and shit. No separation between like, hey, I'm getting older now. Like, I mean, the sad thing is, like I said, he's fucked either way because either he's that kind of person that grows up expecting that, and like every time he goes out on a date, he's gonna like call his mom as soon as the date is over and shit like that. Like, I remember because I was watching some dating show where there was a guy, he was such a mama's boy. His mom literally called, and during the date, he picks up the phone and is like talking to his mom, like, "Oh yeah, the grade's going so good." Like,
oh my god.
Like, oh, do you want to talk to her? You want to? I was like, oh, bro.
I'd run. Oh,
immediately you see the girl's face like, oh, nope. Yeah,
there was some reality show I was watching with my mom. And there was like a weird mama's boy, and I think it was a show about like people who like virgins, or like people who had never had sex or something like that. It was like definitely like a TLC, like questionable in taste thing, but we just kind of got sucked in. And the guy liked the girl, but only would have her over in his basement like they were fucking teenagers while the mom was upstairs and like interrupting. And my mom and I said at the same time, like, man, if he ever has sex with her, he's gonna choke her to death by accident on the first go around. We said it like the same time because that's just how intensely weird everything was. It was like, and the girl kind of liked the guy. She really genuinely like sort of seemed into him in a way, but then he was like, well, you can only come over because we're gonna have like I think they ordered pizza and like the mom brought it down. Like it was just, and they were younger. But if I was that girl, but girl, run for the fucking hills. That mom's gonna try to murder you.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, 100%. Yeah, you know, and I love that whole thing that, you know, Miranda was saying, like, like, yeah, is anyone, you know, is any woman when he gets older gonna be able to please him? No. It's funny that she says that because it was kind of like almost it was almost like predicting the future, because like not too many years after that, Sarah Jessica Parker does that movie Failure to Launch with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah,
about like getting men to mature and get away from their like overbearing mothers. And his mom in that movie was one of these moms that we're talking about. Like, essentially worshipped him to death, and that's why like he never left the nest, because like why would he?
Yeah.
Like why would he when you're being treated like a god?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absurd.
Because you know what's worse is that they have a girl, they will not treat her the same way.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. And also again, I'm sorry, Miranda had 3, because remember she talked about Hansel and Gretel when she was a kid.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, the witch is misunderstood. And I was like, oh shit, that's a good point. Like,
she builds her dream house in the woods.
Yeah, she built a dream house of gingerbread. These 2 little kids come along eating her shit. Of course she's gonna try to cook them. Like, what the fuck? You know how long it takes to build a gingerbread house? A real one?
Do you know the kind of contractors you gotta track down to build a gingerbread house? They are not easy to find.
You know how many Jolly Ranchers I melted to make that handle, you piece of shit?
This candy cane glass is not easy to manufacture, and you went and fucking ate it all.
Not at all. I'd be pissed too. Yeah.
You greedy little shit.
If you think about it, in regards to like the witch and Hansel and Gretel, she literally built her own house. So like, even if it was made out of wood, if I built my own house and somebody was coming to basically destroy it, which that's what Hansel and Gretel were doing by eating her house. Yeah, I'd put them in an oven.
I think there are some versions where like, yes, it's mostly gingerbread, but like also held together with the bones of children. Just throwing that out there.
Hey, it doesn't matter. She built that motherfucker.
It's still her house.
Look, Hansel and Gretel didn't build one piece of that house, and they came and was destroying it. Fuck them. You go over there. But which goes through, kids are selfish, all right? They don't do selfish. No one else but themselves. And here's the thing. You can forgive it because they're children, they don't know any better. But like, that's my whole thing, is like, that's why, like, if I am gonna have children, I mean, I know it's, you know, like maybe super assuming of me, like if I'm gonna have children, it'll probably be like in my early 40s, because like I want to eliminate as much resentment towards my children as I can. By having a good life, you know what I mean? By living a good life, being able to travel,
accomplishing things you want to accomplish,
and that at least try to do as much as I can towards my dreams. So then, when it gets to the point where I do have children, and then like I won't be so behind when it comes to the point of like them getting out of the house, and I can like start having my life again. You know what I mean? Like, so because like usually when people have kids too early and for the wrong reasons, like Lainey, you know, they resent the kids. Yeah, they resent them. You know what I mean? Like, and she's like, again, she's totally doing it for the wrong reason. Like, this bitch had a fucking naked portrait of herself in the bathroom naked. Like, that's some.
Demi Moore did that on Vanity Fair. I think that's who they photoshopped that woman's head, that actress's head onto. Is Demi Moore famously posed naked for Vanity Fair while very pregnant with one of her kids.
That's for Vanity Fair, and that's like kind of giving women like hope. She was doing that for herself.
I don't hate it. I actually my. She's not nude, but my aunt I hear one in like a school like silent auction thing, like a pregnancy photography session, and so she did it with my older cousin. She's not older than me, but the older of the 2 girls. It's actually I think very sweet and maternal, because it's the 2 of them, and she's pregnant with her soon-to-be younger sister. This is several years ago now. And there's a very sweet photo of my cousin with her head on her mom's belly. I don't totally hate it as a concept.
Here's what, I don't hate it as a concept. I hate her reasoning by it.
Yes, I will say the character in the show is
like, I'm really happy. Like, clearly she showed it later because she shows up at Samantha's like party and crashed the party. So clearly you're not happy with your life. So like, yeah,
that's true.
It was just another way of like showing off, you know, like look at me, I can get.
Because this photo session is very like happy and sweet. It's cute.
Yeah,
I like it.
That was like
there is a difference.
Also, too, I could be okay with it if it was like, because like I've seen it in times of this nature where people do like, you know, with the husband or with their boyfriend, whatever. Like that's different. That's something like maybe some of them are doing it to be braggadocious as well, but like at least when you're including your man in it, like it seems more authentic that you're happy about the birth. She made a whole portrait of just herself, a painted portrait.
I thought that was just like a photo portrait.
No. It was a painted portrait.
Oh, okay.
That's still get different. You know what I'm saying? Like that's to the highest level. That means she sat there for a couple of hours feeling herself while somebody painted it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, but it's funny you say that you're like, well, wait till your 40s to if you want to, if you choose fatherhood. Charlotte goes, I don't want to be one of those moms. 40-year-old moms, and I was like, fuck you, bitch. Like,
get what she's saying. I think she was. I mean, she wasn't saying it for this reason, but like I understand that biologically because I know it's a little
biologically.
Bit
more. And at the time, you know, egg freezing was starting to become a thing.
Yeah,
that was more accessible.
Yeah.
No, nowhere near where it is now. And even now, it's kind of tricky. Like I'm actually looking into it at some point myself because I don't have the other half of the DNA. So, but
no, I get that,
and then also, yes, unfortunately, I had to go through chemotherapy and things like that. That like fucks up your window and whatnot. Yeah, so there's plenty of reasons to do it, but yeah, I don't want to be a 40-year-old mom. Fuck you. Do you know how many women are having like children in their 40s now? Tons.
Yeah, was it? But see, in 1998, that wasn't a thing.
It was a big. It was not a thing in 1998. The way.
Yeah, now it's more normal, but because like we're and because the thing is too is like we're advancing as human beings. Like we're still not in that mindset that like the man has to be the breadwinner and the women have to guard the cave while the man is out hunting. You know,
and often and to your earlier point. Having children when you're older in like your 40s allows you to achieve more career things if you're into that and if that's what you want to do, and it doesn't like throw your career track off as much, necessarily.
That's what I was trying to get to earlier was like that point that you just made. Like, you know, like if you get further enough in your career, it won't hurt you as bad when you got to take some of that time off.
Exactly, yeah, and being able to alter that with your partner, or if you have eggs and then you meet somebody, whatever, it's a huge advantage. It's a huge privilege still for frankly, mostly high-earning white women at this point in time. But hopefully that could be more of a thing. And I also learned, I think egg freezing and/or fertility care is covered as a cancer patient in California through your insurance. Like it's a.
It should be.
It's not free, but like it's covered.
It should be.
So that's a fun fact for anybody who's listening and needs to know that.
It should be across the board in every state, in every country, in every part of the world.
Yeah.
You know, we're not there yet, but hopefully we will. Now, I want to say this is because after seeing Charlotte at the party and then like they were talking about her expectations. Like she had this box full of like how
she's too old for that dream box. That was my first note. I was like, you are too old for this dream box. I wasn't gonna say that. However, thought she was.
You're right. You're not wrong on that point. I'm not disagreeing with you. But my point that I was gonna make was essentially that I am a little bit worried about the outcome of Charlotte because she seems to be working her way towards being one of those moms who like aren't really happy with their life and basically are trying to like like we were talking last episode. She seems like
a gold dating,
gold dater, right? So like not gold digger, gold dater, and that's kind of because like she's talking about having a townhouse in the city and a beach house, and then we go back to other episodes and talking about like her requirements for men and and that's having money.
Her dream man was JFK Jr.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so she'll. I think I feel like what's gonna happen with her. She keeps going with this mindset in life is like she'll fall in love, but she won't stay in love.
Yeah, if she won't stay in,
and not who that person really is,
and she won't stay in love with them if they don't meet her expectations that
Correct.
she may or may not be communicating up front about what she wants. I feel like she's relatively open about like, I am looking for a husband and I want to start a family and looking for that life. But then, I mean, she's also getting like dudes who are like, can I put it in your butt? So I don't know. Maybe she's not communicating things up front.
Well, I'm sorry, but like, if you only hang around these areas where douchebags basically live, you're going to end up with a douchebag. And like, not saying all the guys she dated were douchebags, but like almost they kind of were. Like they all like are these all put together like Wall Street type ass guys, but then they have like these weird things that they need her to do, and like she's not willing to do them. So it's like, well, maybe try dating outside of that dating pool. Like maybe try going outside of that society and maybe see what else is out there. But you keep you looking for the rich guy, so you keep hanging out these rich guy hangouts, you're gonna get these weird guys.
You're gonna get some weird repressed rich freaks.
She won't change her pattern. So like again, it's either like, okay, so what's gonna happen is she's gonna end up with some guy like that wants to put it in her butt, and she's gonna like either have to do it or be unhappy because like she won't date outside of this, Wall Street guy put together, suit wearing all day person,
All I'm gonna say is foreshadowing.
You know who she needs to be dating? She needs to be dating Mr. Big. That would be a better matchup for her than Carrie and Mr. Big.
Oh, I've never heard anyone put them together. I don't think he wants kids, and that's a deal breaker for her.
But here's the thing, though, that
she could get kids out of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think she wants it, and she wants that life, and he is too distant, and she would not go for that. She could not handle his distance.
But see, that's the thing is like, if she keeps dating the way she is, she's gonna end up with a Mr. Big type anyway.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously, you know the show, so you know that.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, if this were real life, this kind of like when you only hang out at these certain spots, you're gonna keep getting these certain guys. And like, like I don't know what people think, but like, you're not gonna find some diamond in the rough. Like, you're not gonna find this guy who's like super successful, but also like treats you well and worships you, and is like a good guy. Like, nah, bro. These guys like that who are like wholesome and have like good family ties and all this other shit and don't, aren't superficial, don't hang out in those spots because they're not superficial. So they don't need to go to those spots to like feel important. You feel me?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've never thought of them as like a pairing.
Mm-hmm.
I think she wants this very specific life, but she also wants to be very much in love, and I don't think Big cares about that as much. So I just don't see them ever vibing.
I don't know, because like I feel like she could get kids out of Big. Like
for sure.
He would do it begrudgingly.
Yeah. What a cold, distant father he'd be.
It would be. He would. It would be some resentment in that. The
marriage. Therapy those kids would need.
But that's the thing too about Charlotte is like, even if they, let's say her and Big got together, he like gave her children, there was like resentment there. She would. Just to live in that life, to stay in that lifestyle, to stay in that beach house, townhouse lifestyle, she would just take her attention off the resentment that she has between, the mom and dad, and just put all her energy into like being a good mom and like try to, block the shit. And then when he grows up and moves out of the house, then they would have to like deal with each other and end up with divorce.
Or a drinking problem, as I've been led to believe by like a million of like, novels and movies where it's like the cold, distant rich parents, the mom is always quietly drinking like a ton of wine or a bunch of martini.
Bam! Oh my God! I know somebody whose life is that. Like literally.
Really? Oh no.
Like her mom, like, you know, like they're like the kids are all grown and so like that.
Uh-huh.
But her mom is like basically married to this like, and actually the from what I have been told, her dad is actually just like this really sweet, amazing guy. But like, you know, she basically has this like good privileged life, but she's miserable. Like she drinks wine like a whole bottle of wine every night.
Oh boy, that's a lot of
get
wine.
through life. Yeah. Like every night, not like 1 or 2 nights a week. Every night. Yeah. So
oof. Get some therapy.
Man.
Hit up a meeting and get some therapy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. The sad thing is like that mom is so manipulative and controlling. Like basically, the person I know is trying to live that same life that her mom is living. Like that's how like she's gotten to her. Like basically, like, you ain't shit unless you having this kind of life.
Yeah.
AKA misery loves company.
Yeah, you learn patterns, and either you break them or you recreate them.
The cycle is going to continue with this person. I can tell you that right now, 100%.
Oh dear.
Unless something happens within the next year or two that like wakes this person up.
Mm-hmm.
I see the pattern repeating itself, and she's probably going to do the same thing to her child as well, especially if she has a daughter.
I think that's kind of everything in the episode. I don't know. Did you have anything else you wanted to?
Oh, I do have 2 questions. Yes. For you as a
lady.
We'll talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
Before we get into that. Don't put shock collars on your dogs, people. That's bullshit.
Oh yeah, that was well, I just saw something.
There is never a time or a reason for you to put a shock collar on a dog. Don't put a shock collar. That shit is lazy. That shit is fucking lazy. That's like you know, it's like people like parents who put their kids on a fucking leash. So they don't have to worry about them getting away. Nah,
I am gonna argue. I don't. Look, if you have twins, and they go shooting off in 2 different directions, a little leash backpack's not the worst thing you could put on them. Just saying.
If you're a single mom, I'll give you space for that. If you're a single mom and you got more than 1 kid, fine. But if you got 1 kid, you keep your fucking eye on the kid, not on your phone or some other bullshit that don't matter.
But you know, kids really do. It's hard.
But that's the thing. You made the choice of having a kid. You because like again,
you can keep your eye on kids all you want, and they will go shooting off in any direction they want. Sometimes faster than you can even like turn around. Infamously, I got lost in a department store. I was a nervous kid, shocker, and clung to my mom's leg in like a JC Penney.
Okay.
And then abruptly, for no reason, let go and like went in another direction. And she almost instantaneously was like, wait, where's my little like lamprey? Where did she go? And I was gone. Couldn't fucking find me. She tore through the store. Luckily, someone did find me, take me to like Lost Kids, and they made an announcement. Here's where what's all extra funny is I was old enough to talk, and they were trying to ask me, they're like, what does your mom look like? I wouldn't say shit. I wouldn't crack for anybody under police interrogation. I didn't say a damn thing. And the only reason they knew it was my mom when she walked up to come get me was I burst into tears, you know, it was like with relief that I'd been found. So what I'm saying is I'd make a great CIA agent. I wouldn't spill no secrets.
Elizabeth, no breaking Stanton.
No breaking Stanton.
She's like, nah, fuck that. Fuck you, pig. I ain't telling you shit.
Yeah, I'd be like,
you're already
I'm only 3, but I'm not telling you, dick copper. So just saying, even the best
already in the game. Like, nah, I don't talk to pigs.
I ain't no snitch.
I ain't no snitch. That is.
So I'm just saying, even the clingiest and and my mom is hawk level watcher.
Yeah.
Doesn't let shit slip by. Doesn't lose track. 2 seconds. All I did was boop, let go, and then I was gone with the wind.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, leashes aren't the end of the world for
not
kids.
the end of the world. I just don't respect them. Like, you got to be a parent and watch your fucking kids. You know what I mean?
She was, and I was gone in an instant.
Hold on to them motherfuckers.
But then
you can't blame the kids. Like
kids let go.
You weren't wrong in that situation. You just happened to let go, and you got like kids do that. Like kids can't get lost. It was kind of on your mom. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
Don't you talk shit about Irene?
No. I'm not
coming for you.
I'm not saying anything negative about how your mom raised you. You turned out to be a great human being. So clearly, she did her job correctly.
Don't talk about Irene Stanton. I swear to God.
No. She gets all the praise. You're one of my favorite people in the world. So I'm not.
Thank you.
But again, no leashes on kids though. I don't fuck with that. No shock collars on dogs, no leashes on kids.
I didn't until I witnessed a need for leashes on children. I'm just saying.
Anyway, okay, so back to now that I'm off my rant, I have some questions for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha said that baby showers are hell on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know, do you feel that way?
No, I think they're fun. I like people having babies. It's happy. It's a good thing. I'm actually sad I missed my best friend back home, a couple best friends from back home. I wasn't able to be around for baby showers, just timing and money wise. It just didn't work out. I couldn't fly back for that. And then sadly, one of my closest friends here in LA, they just she and her husband just had twins, and we had to do a drive-by baby shower because of the pandemic, and it's just not the same, you know. And it was like, these are like, I've been friends with her literally since I moved here. We met on Craigslist, and neither of us turned out to be murderers that we know of. And it's a bummer that we couldn't do a proper baby shower for them, you know, because stupid pandemic. So
right. Okay. I'm with that. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I mean, not that I've been to a million baby showers like that, but to me, it always depends on the person.
And it does depend. Yeah, it depends on the person. But luckily, I've been invited to people I've generally liked baby showers, so I've never been like, oh, I have to go to this baby shower. I may have blown off a baby shower.
Fine, that's totally okay.
But I sent a gift anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and I don't know, maybe I'm different, but like I feel like in a guy's world, we don't have to worry about really any kind of shit like this. Like this is usually a woman thing.
Yeah, it's usually a generally,
I mean, we get dragged to them if like our girlfriends or our wives or friends would say.
Some people plan women-only baby showers, which is fine. But the drive-by one we did was my friend's husband was there as well because they were just on their porch in their apartment. I was like, maybe we should hook the gifts up to them, but that would mean things get broken. And so it wasn't only girls women driving by. It was, you know, male friends, female friends, you know. I think you can make it. There is a type that wants to be like, it's girls only, and it's like psycho weird, intense, like mommy business. And then I'm like, or you could just celebrate the couple having the baby and give them some gifts and hang out and have a fun little party and have some snacks and sandwiches and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Because before the pandemic, they did a gender reveal party, but like that was, you know, men and women. Like I said, we had sandwiches, played games, had a good time. Like, then you can do that. Then that's about the level of like a baby shower I'd go for if I had one.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like, worship me as an earth mother goddess.
Yeah, I think gender reveal parties are dumb, and I think baby showers are dumb, but also it depends on the person. Like if like I said, if it's somebody like you actually like and you know they're a good person, you know, like they're having for the right reasons, I'm totally down to go to a baby shower. But if it's somebody like Lainey that you know, it's just,
I did like Carrie going, oh, I didn't get a gift. Do you think it's tacky to give cash? I'm like, in this economy, no. Moms and parents need money all the time. And like, it's nice to give, like, the baby shower is like a wedding shower, theoretically, where you're supposed to give the new parent things that they'll need or to care for the baby, like toys and toys and, well, I didn't go out on a crib. Those are expensive, but you know, toys, clothes, you know, blankets, bibs, all that shit, you know, it adds up, and it's nice to buy that kind of thing for somebody. And I will say, if you go on someone's baby shower thing, like you can rack up a decent gift by like buying multiple little things, and then you look really impressive, because you've given a bunch of stuff.
Fucking Charlotte with the goddamn basket.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why she's gonna end up being like one of those moms, because she's already doing that bullshit. You know what I mean? Like showing everybody else. You know, everybody else brought like little small gifts, and she was like, "Here's mine."
And she knew that was like the Cadillac of baby gifts to bring too. Exactly. Even though she's not a mom, but she's like read up on that stuff.
She's already in that lifestyle of that superficial bullshit. Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this. Where was I at? Do you agree with this statement? You don't have to lose yourself to have a baby.
I agree. I agree. Things change. Your life will irrevocably change because of a baby. You do not have to subsume who you were and who you are before motherhood. Society will tell you you do. Mm-hmm. And you are a mother now, therefore you cannot or should not do X, Y, and Z. And that's the whole thing we were talking about earlier with like society expects you to do this or that or be this way. No, I think you can still be who you are and be a mom. Where it gets hard is if you don't have the support of like your partner to do that. That's fucked up. The partner should support, because their life is going to change too, or it should. If you are married and having a baby with a man, his life should also change. How things are for him. But again, it doesn't affect dads nearly obviously the same as it does moms. Mm-hmm. First of all, obviously physically, I mean, there's nothing anyone can do about that. But then, my friends who have kids, my family who have kids, they're still the same people, like personality wise, how they interact and go through the world. I think are all my female cousins like working moms who are happy with their career. Yeah, I think so. My cousin in Chicago, she has like a super high powered like VP job, has a kid. She's still who she is. They go. She would go on fabulous trips before the kid. She went on fabulous trips with the kid. Like it can happen. It's not easy. I will say probably money probably plays a factor in changing who you are, or whether or not you change. But just as like, being a mom does not have to replace your personality. I think people think, oh, I have to stop doing this or liking this or whatever because now I'm a parent. And barring like hard drugs and a drinking problem, and or like questionable activities, no, you could still, like my brother and sister-in-law, like I'm trying to think. They still like fantasy stuff, and they showed like my niece and nephew like the Hobbit cartoon when they're little, like that kind of stuff. You can get kids involved in what you like within reason. Like I like horror movies. I'm not going to show.
Don't force it on them. Like
don't force it on them. And I wouldn't show a little kid or like my little kid anything too scary too early. But like my mom loves Halloween, has always loved Halloween. Right. Brought up Halloween around us. Yeah. It's hard. I think it's hard, or if you don't have support, but it does not have to actually like end who you are.
It's also harder to.
That's the opinion of a non-mom, though. No.
Just but I also
caveat that
it does help to navigate that changing. Like if you already know who you are as a person, like if you if you're a person who's like searching in the dark trying to figure it out, and then like, you decide to have a kid, thinking that was going to be the glue that, or be, fill that space that you were missing, I think that's when you do lose yourself in a kid. Yes. And also that's another way that resentment is built, towards your children. And that's when you start, trying to forcefully influence your dreams onto them, like your expectations in life and things of that nature. Basically, anything that you weren't able to do because you had them, you're like trying to make sure that they do it so you can live vicariously through them, and then you end up making them miserable.
Like Lainey abruptly shifted her personality by all accounts in the show from this wild party woman in New York
which she clearly wasn't ready for.
But but she was not ready for that change. She didn't actually want it. She just thought she did and thought she needed to do it. And that's the problem. And that's why she will be the embarrassing mom at the dance.
Right.
While her kid slings off into a corner going, oh my God.
You're like coming downstairs with a glass of wine, trying to have like girl time.
She's going to be the mom in Mean Girls.
Oh, 100%.
She's going to be Amy Poehler. Not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
Yeah. And embarrassing her daughter.
Happy hours from 4 to 6. Does this have alcohol in it? No, God, what kind of mother do you think I am? Why do you want some? Because if you do, I'd rather you drink in the house. You girls keep me young.
Yep. That's gonna be Lainey, 100%.
So her.
Oh man, it's like, yeah, man. And that's the thing too. Is like, I want to laugh at it, but I can't because like I said, I know somebody who is this person. Yeah. Like, oh man, I see your future. I just like this episode showed me your future, and I would love to save you from it, but you won't. Like, I couldn't save you from it. You know what I mean?
You can't save people who don't want to be saved.
I know.
It's frustrating.
I know, but that's another thing too. I want to say to end it on too is like that's why we need to change our views socially as well, because you know it's I think, you know, with a person like Lainey you can feel sorry for, because like again socially there was pressure put upon her. She's in her 30s. She's supposed to be a mom at this point. And basically, if you're not even on your way to becoming a mother or close to having like husband, wife, white picket fence, all that bullshit, then you basically failed at life. Like you shouldn't even exist on this earth.
Yeah, and which is bullshit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And this is why. And that's what I'm saying. It's that cycle, because then you got women who that you know basically just like jump into this life before they're ready for it, because everybody's been telling them that they're supposed to be doing it at this point. And then when they get this life, they end up being miserable and then making their children miserable, trying to like overcompensate for, you know, this life that they've, you know, brought upon themselves. And it just never ends the way that it should. You always end up making mistakes in some way and damaging your poor children in ways that you may not have been trying to do intentionally, but you just do because it didn't happen organically the way it was supposed to happen.
Societal timelines are made up.
Yeah.
You can, within reason, do just about anything you want at any time you want. It, you know, there are a few limiting factors, but overall, like,
well, that American dream bullshit, like, died out in the 50s. Like, we don't have that life anymore. We can't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't tell that to boomers. It's, as far as they're concerned, we've all failed miserably. I'm sorry, Jim. I didn't know I could go to college for $14,000 for all 4 years. Oh wait, I can't. Inflation drove everything up.
Right. Yeah, 14,000.
Inflation you were okay with.
Right. That you were cool. Yeah. That you
allowed, bud.
Greatest generation. Fuck you.
Well, no, it's the boomers' fault, man. Greatest generations are the people who went through World War II and stuff, and depression. It's the boomers. It's their damn kids.
I know, but it's our fault.
But it's our fault. We all got participation trophies. Guess who gave us the participation trophies? You guys did.
You motherfuckers.
Because you were so hung up on your shit, and that and the thought of like, we're like the only, like the first generation's doing worse than our parents in most cases because of, you know, policies that they were fine with and voted into office for years and years and years, and then they think we're like failures because we're all stressed out about everything. I'm sorry that 90% of my worldwide tragedies I got to watch happen live on TV. Not my fucking fault, Jim. Like,
I know, man. That's why I feel like sometimes, like, you know, the voting age is 18, but it should be like 30, 35.
No, you want the young voters. You got to cap the voting age, baby. That's the secret.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. That's very true. Because
now they're gonna live forever and keep voting idiots like fucking Mitch McConnell into office for all eternity. We're gonna be fucking stuck with that little shit.
A solid point. That is a solid point.
But no, I don't think we should actually cap the voting age.
I know, obviously. Yeah. Obviously, yeah, I know. But it would make more sense if it were.
Be nice though.
Yeah. Like, you can't vote till you're 21. You can't stop. You can't vote after like 55.
Yeah. You can't vote after retirement. After you're working, you're done voting.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah. I mean, that's everything I wanted to to talk about. It was like I said, it was a very good episode. It was very it was kind of advanced because again, you know, we can the subject matter that was covered in this episode, we still are, you know, it's still being discussed socially today.
Yeah.
And with maybe a little more nuance, obviously, but you know, it's still an important issue that people are still dealing with today, and especially women too. So that's why, and I think that's why I like watching the show too, because like I love watching the show and then talking with you about it because it gives me perspective and some of the things that like I had no idea about or maybe had a incorrect view on. And you know, you and even in this episode, like talking with you, you kind of brought up things that I, you know, thoughts that I had in my head that were not necessarily wrong, but not open-minded enough to really see, you know, the issues that be. And you know, like right now I just feel like as a man I don't want to get anybody pregnant because
you keep that shit in your pants.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a prison sentence almost.
You know what you can do, you can put some stuff on ice.
There you go.
A little snip, there you go.
Yeah there you go.
That way, if you still want them, great. You got the stuff on deck.
Fuck that. If I ever get married, me and my wife are gonna get a surrogate. I'm not gonna make her get pregnant and let her fuck up her body so she can hate me forever. Nah, fuck that. I'll let a stranger do it. Like, yeah, we paid you 20 grand. You're chilling.
No, surrogates are great.
Yeah. No, kids are cool, but like I understand again, like, you know, your body's never the same unless you're Beyonce.
Well, that first one is hashtag Illuminati. She never was pregnant with Blue Ivy.
Yeah, weren't they saying like Solange was like their surrogate or some shit like that? When they were
so there's a million weird conspiracies with that, and the most notorious is she went on like that talk show or whatever, and like her stomach bent weird, and everyone thought it was fake.
Yeah.
But then she did all those photos with the twins, so.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, everybody's the first one might have been a fraud, but the rest I know she had for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, because then like I was trying to think too. I mean, it's like, because you remember, I don't know, I think it was the VMA Awards where she performed pregnant.
She performed and there's two. She performed pregnant at the VMAs.
Yeah,
and she was like maybe 5 months along, so she had like a little bump that she kind of highlighted and rubbed.
Yeah.
And then the Grammys, she did like full Earth Mother Goddess, like.
Yeah.
And heavily super pregnant.
Yeah. It's like, is she just incredibly talented or is it a lie? I'm going with incredibly talented, but who knows?
I mean, incredibly talented.
Hollywood is so fake. You never know. You know what I mean? Like, it could be a fake baby bump. And
well, I kind of like defend her in that regard a little, because I feel like because people treat her as like a superhuman woman, I think the idea that if she did have to have a surrogate or something like that to have the kids, and therefore she didn't have them herself, that would like, it's because some people do act like that makes you less of a woman, and because she's so woman power and people do think she's like borderline goddess level in a lot of ways, that she's unable to maybe safely have kids on her own, people would really look down on that for her. And I feel like there's like a weird pressure she had to be like, not only am I like super powerful as a performer and creator, I'm also like a super mom. I think there was like, that's why I think if it is faked, that's why it happened, and or to keep the body tight. You know? There's that too.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
But it could also be the other thing.
But that's the thing too. Like, that's the thing too. Is like the reason why I want to just believe that she's super talented, because I have seen women, like I know women that I know that have been pregnant and bounced back. You know what I mean? Right after pregnancy. But most of those women are like people who like into fitness their entire life, and even like while they were pregnant, they were still working out, not like crazy hard, but just doing like, they had like the mommy
physical activity.
You know what I'm saying? Like they kept it going throughout the entire pregnancy. They never stopped. So basically, once they had a baby, they took 2 weeks off to rest and let things heal up, and then they were right back at it.
Yeah, age and genetics play a factor in that, of course. Lifestyle. I think we're still a little problematic in Hollywood with that. Yeah. It's getting better, but you know, it used to be like, oh, I had the baby 6 weeks ago and I'm already back in the bikini. Well, first of all, it is the acting and being a celebrity like that, your job is your body.
Right.
And so, yeah, you're back to work because you worked out a bunch. I don't love when they say, oh, all I did was breastfeed and run around and chase the kid. No, man, you don't get abs from doing that. Fuck off, you know?
Unless your kids are 100 pounds apiece.
Plus you got some chunky babies up in there.
You got a fucking brick shit house for a kid.
Yeah.
Maybe like when The Rock was a little kid.
Maybe if you're bench pressing The Rock as a toddler every day. Yeah, but luckily more and more celebrity moms are able to get away from that pressure, I think, for themselves, and then that's good for society at large. But then you still got like, what's her face, Ilaria Baldwin, who's like, oh, I like just keep these kids like walking out of here, and I'm still flat as a board, you know, because I do yoga and I'm a yoga mom. Also, I'm Spanish. No, I'm not. Wait, I am. Yes, no, I don't know. Yeah. I don't believe shit out of her now.
Oh man, that's what's up.
Well, anyway.
So, tell us where they can find us, Elizabeth.
They can find me at Elizabeth Movies on Twitter and Instagram. Where can they find you?
And they can find me at Mack Diddy Combs. That's MackDiddyCombs on Instagram, Twitter, and pretty much everywhere else. I don't know where. Oh, Venmo, if you want to send me some money, cool. Like it's on, same thing on Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, whatever, you know. Just find me anywhere.
Shit, I need to set that up.
I mean, I don't know if anybody will, but you know, if you want,
you can also just slide $20 under my door if you want.
I mean, you know, well, no,
or maybe don't do that because that means where I live. Scratch that. Anyway,
I don't know if we're to that level where we have creepy fans, but like, let's not chance it because we might have one or two that we don't know about. And
you never know.
Yeah, you don't want that showing up to the crib. Like, I got 20.
Yeah, I mean, wait. And then you can find us. Probably the easiest is Instagram at Show Me What Podcast.
Yes.
And then you can find all our other handles on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. And we are available on like all the major podcast platforms. So subscribe, leave some reviews on Apple. I guess that's helpful. I've heard that's really helpful. So maybe do that for us. That'd be cool.
And watch us if you're listening and only listening. You're missing out on these great expressions that we do. So you should go to our YouTube page.
Yeah.
And subscribe there, and you can see us, make these weird faces that we make.
I got a ring light finally.
Yeah, I see that. I saw the reflection.
But it's reflecting in my damn glasses, so I gotta work on that.
Ooh, no. It's only when you lift when you.
Yeah. Well, this chair is bad too. I'm getting a tax refund soon because I did my taxes, and I'm gonna move, you guys, and I can't wait. We're gonna have a whole new visual setup, and I'm very excited. I was also fighting the setting sun earlier too. If you were watching the video,
I saw that. Sure. Like a beam of light hitting you from the
if any like editors or camera people or cinematographer, anyone is probably like screaming that there were like 300 different color temperatures on my side of the screen. And for that, I am sorry.
Well, you know what? If they're that focused on what's going on, then
that means they weren't listening.
Yeah, that's your problem. You're not listening to the hot takes that we throwing at y'all right now.
Piping hot takes.
Hot and hot, straight out the oven. Hot greets.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.